Why, hello there. Today we're going to talk about The Bonny Swans by P.L. Watts. I received this as an ARC from Cemetery Gates Media. It is a dark historical fantasy. It is in the My Dark Library series that is curated by Mother Horror, aka Sadie Hartman. And the My Dark Library series, everything I've read from it has been awesome. And this book also awesome. There is an old song or a ballad by this person named Loreena McKennitt about the Bonny Swans. And it's about sisters. And this story is highly influenced from that ballad. And once you are immersed in the story, you just want to keep turning pages. It follows the story of this woman named Anne who boards a ship and goes to France. And when she gets there, she runs into this man named Donatius Moraes. And she lets herself be called Marguerite, so she takes on this whole new persona. And her hand is injured, and she's not sure why, and she can't really remember what happened to her before she came across on this boat to France. So she meets this man at the dock. He ends up employing her as the nanny for this girl named Melian in this very well-off family that lives on this big estate. And as the story goes on, you flip back and forth through the chapters of Anne, now Marguerite, her memories of her growing up. And it seems like she came from this really well-off family in the times, you know, when they married off their daughters to who cares who, as long as the family had a lot of money and it was going to bring the other family prosperity, and the girls didn't really get a chance or get to choose. And so they lived these lives that once they became a woman, they gotta parade them around and bid them off to the highest bidder, I guess, which is horrible. The life of a princess. So glamorous. Anyway, I digress. So it flips between the memories of who Anne was before and starting to remember what happened in her life that maybe was so severe and terrible that she blocked it out of her memories. And so she comes into the employ of this family of Donatius Moraes, becomes the nanny of this petulant little girl, Melian, and just the dysfunction of this family, and it seems like there's a lot of dark secrets. Monsieur Moraes, his relationship to his wife doesn't really seem like much of a relationship. Seems like he has these mistresses that just live on the property. Is Marguerite gonna be one of those? I don't know. You'll have to read it to find out. It's a tragedy. It's sad. It's dark and disturbing. And then how Marguerite starts to see eventually with Melian, maybe seeing herself in this child. And Melian's like 9, but has a way about her that's more of lived several years and older than she should be, just from the stuff she's been exposed to and what she's been around and kind of the horrible stuff that her family maybe puts her through. So as Marguerite or Anne starts to remember what had happened in her past and her old life, stuff starts coming to a head, and her reality starts to blur in between her past and her present. She'll be there physically, but she'll be seeing other things and stuff that's not in her current reality, and it's very eerie and strange. And what turn she gets to in the story that brings her back into her current reality, and what happens, and how is she able to be supportful for Melian and help her to get out of this maybe terrible situation that she could possibly be into. And it was really well written. I enjoyed the characters. I liked how dark it was. The atmosphere and the setting. The sad elements of seeing what it's like to be in one of those insanely rich families that, would marry off their daughters for a price. It was quite interesting and makes you realize that that stuff's definitely not all it's cracked up to be. Nothing about it is yuck. But fantastic book, The Bonny Swans by P.L. Watts. Highly recommend it. I highly recommend every single book so far that I've read in the My Dark Library series. I should make a playlist of all the ones that were in the My Dark Library series, and I may do that. Yes. So if you are a fan of dark fantasy books, the next video coming up will be another dark fantasy book. So stick around, check it out. And if you had fun hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.